Hello there, and good day to you. This is Brandon Tilt here on healing. And I feel very blessed today to be sitting in my hammock on a nice, quiet, clear afternoon at Bunsen Lake, watching the water reflect off of the trees and seeing that green sort of shimmering, and there's ducks around and geese around me, and there were some ravens that were kind of making a fuss. There's this nice beautiful effect I love when the fog settles just at the tops of the pine or other trees, and I just love that effect. Spooky yet calming. Anyway, it's a beautiful day. And I figure, why not have a podcast? Why not see what's bouncing around the old noggin? So, this is a podcast about my personal take on healing, generally speaking, which can pertain to mental health, which can pertain to growth, and the healing journey, as some people call it. It can also be a spiritual concept, right? It doesn't have to be about the things we associate it with, but maybe it's what you associate it with. Maybe it's not, but it's what I associate it with. And it's pretty spectacular, right? If you look back on your life and just think about what got you to the place where you are now, in this moment. The good, the bad, the ugly. The moments where you just didn't know if you could actually get through that week or that month or that year. Or maybe you're still in a pretty dark place. Wherever you're at, just taking a moment to acknowledge it, and it's kind of wild, right? Yeah, life's good. But I guess what I'm trying to say is life hasn't always been good. Many days I feel like life's too much. And I can accept that. That feeling, right? That recognition, that awareness. Maybe that reality. There's a lot of things in this world that are very painful, very heavy. They cling to us like mud. And I'm not a nihilist, I swear. But I've spent a lot of time thinking about life and thinking about death. And I feel it's a very important moment of awareness when you recognize that you are a finite being living a finite existence, regardless of your spiritual beliefs. Just acknowledging that right now, here in the now. We're going to die. Each of us is set on a path towards some kind of end. Oh boy, it started raining. It's so peaceful, but I hope it doesn't get really rainy. Ah, damn. I'm not dressed for this. Wow. That magical effect where you can, I'm just looking at the pond, the lake, the water around me. So bringing it back, it started raining gently. I'm watching the the water around me just look like I don't know, like water with all these dancing circles, these dancing, echoing outward spirals. I don't even know if you call them spirals, but it looks super, super trippy, very beautiful. And I realized, oh no, dear me, I forgot my cell phone. I'm recording this on my microphone, but I don't have my cell phone. And that's what's really beautiful, is I don't need it. I really don't need my cell phone to do this. I don't need it to sit in nature. I don't need it, if I wanted to record the videos of the ducks that I saw, or so I could share this moment with more, graphic detail. You could see what I'm saying. I don't have to describe it to you in my sort of kind of haphazard way. But you know what? I feel so grateful just to be able to focus all my attention on how these trees look in this crystal lake, this crystal clear reflection where I can see these beautiful trees mirrored off of this water, and I can see the duck just gradually moving across with its little tail stream of water. And look at that, the rain went away. And I wonder just how much things change when we have our phone on us. I want you to kind of think about that one, right? I was listening to a couple different podcasts that talked about phones, but the one with Andrew Huberman, him and this older psychologist, I believe. He's a psychology researcher, at least, and he, was just sharing all this sciencey stuff about meditation. A lot of cool stuff. Maybe I'll get into it, but I loved how they realized how your phone, you don't really need it. There's so many things that we do that maybe in this modern context we do kind of want the phone, or we're required to have the phone, but really don't need. It doesn't need to be in our pocket. It certainly doesn't need to be out, right? And yet it can be a soothing thing, right? Like that's how I am sometimes. It's like you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed. It's nice to just have that little distraction or something in your hand. And I mean, the sacrifice there is, of course, your attention goes towards it. And even just having your phone out, according to this research that Andrew Huberman was talking about and referencing, just having your phone out has already sort of distracted you to some extent. Like the quality of your focus has already started to deplete. And then, of course, you open your phone and do stuff on it. Your focus is gone. But like, even just having it around, he recommends you have it in a different room. Well, I forgot my phone, and I'm proud of that. And I'm chatting about it like it's a person. Oh no, my phone's gone. I hope it's doing okay. Yeah. Little feeling that kind of weird kind of attachment to this electronic device. Is it, okay, it sounds strange because it's not an entity, it's not a human, but it's a thing. And I associate meaning to it, and I can care about something that's just an object. We often will, attach meaning to pretty much anything. It's a funny part of Community, if you've seen that TV show, Community, where Jeff, he kind of proves some kind of weird point to the whole study group by saying, this is God, I'm probably misremembering, but he's like, he pulls out a pencil or something, and he's like, this is this guy, like this is Bob or something, like this is a pencil. You care about this pencil because I gave it a name, and I can give it a name, and then I can destroy it, and a part of you dies inside. And it's like, it's a pretty profound point that he was making. I know it's for comedy. I know it's kind of like he was making some kind of point in their whole study group. I don't remember. It was something about, how silly humans are, how easy we are to manipulate or something like that, or how much we'll just, oh, wow. The ravens are out and about today. One just flew right over my head. But look at us silly humans. We're worried about our phones. We're having whole, I don't know, imaginary anxiety narratives about what happens, what'll happen, what'll I miss, what kind of consequence will there be if I don't have my phone? And I just kind of want to pull that thread for a moment, because phone anxiety is real. We're becoming very reliant and dependent upon our technology, whether it's cell phones and social media, or maybe it's chat GPT, or I don't know, video games, or checking your emails, or it's all similar. I don't want to say it's the same, but these are ways we kind of soothe using technology, right? Hell, I'm kind of doing it right in this moment, Maybe. I got my microphone here and recording my podcast. We're looking through the, I don't want to call it a two-way mirror, but it's kind of like we're looking at this strange experience of I'm talking to you, but I don't see you. I'm not with you, but I'm talking to you. And then you're listening to me, but you don't really know me, but maybe you understand me based on what I've shared. Oh man, this is crazy. Isn't this wild? This is technology. Anyway, but let's just really kind of just think about just how we're living in this era where it gets kind of confusing. I didn't bring my phone today. Whoops. Now I'm required to engage with nature, and maybe I could be a little bit more present in this podcast. Or I actually love to record videos, so maybe that's my crutch. It's not a bad crutch, but I'm always looking for the next little scene. Oh, there's those beautiful ducks. That's going to be a good video. Oh, look at that water. That is gorgeous. I wonder what that's like when it's slowed down. And you know what's wild? I'm not really fully present. If I'm thinking about, I mean, it's a beautiful experience, don't get me wrong. But if I'm thinking about the aesthetic of nature, or if I'm thinking about maybe what'll this look like? Will this get likes? Will the people in my story like my cinematography? Some I don't know, call that, videography. It's taking away, I believe it could be taking away the quality of presence, which is a absolute blessing. Such a important thing for us to really take in each moment, like fully. We don't have to pad each experience with distractions, by the way, sometimes it's fun to bring something to do, but what if you do nothing? What if you go somewhere, you don't know where you're going, and you have no thing with you? You're doing nothing. You're doing no thing. Yeah, words are fun. You're just feeling every sensation. You're just noticing what's going on around you. You're just kind of like maybe like feeling what your body's feeling authentically, or maybe you're just noticing the mind as it is. And by the way, that's exactly what meditation is. Right now, this could be seen as a form of meditation. Of course, I'm also sharing from this intention of doing this podcast, which I kind of just do for me, but I also want it to be communal. I want it to be eventually taking me places to where I interact with more people and learn more things, right? But just noticing what I'm thinking in this moment. What am I thinking in this moment? Am I feeling like I'm not enough? I'm kind of wondering if I'm trailing off. I kind of just want to be relevant. Yeah, it's kind of wild. What's crazy? My last podcast, I was going on a hike and I was just moving and grooving and like the blood flowing and the high altitude and just all the busyness and the hustle and bustle of it all. And then today I'm just chilling on a hammock. Just such a different vibe, listening to birds. I don't have anywhere to be in this moment. Sometimes that's kind of unsettling, right? I don't have anywhere to be. At least until my yoga class. I love yoga. Don't have anywhere to be. I don't have to do anything for anyone. I don't even know who I'm talking to. I'm okay with that. Actually, I like that more. It's kind of exciting. But I don't have my phone. I'm laying in a hammock near a lake, surrounded by birds. Trying to notice my thoughts. Struggling a little bit. Just noticing how feeling feels. I gotta say, feeling feels pretty good, but it definitely feels strange. I think it's kind of wild how we have to schedule time to relax. And I hope you do, whoever you are, whatever you do. I really do hope that you're able to schedule time to relax. But seriously, why? Who told us we had to fill up every moment? What point was that ever a good idea? You know, it's like we're trying to maximize our life, squeeze every drop out of this existence. Feels like I want to call it an agenda, but maybe. It's like back when time was different, or time felt different. You know, some people say that time is kind of speeding up. That was one theory that Terence McKenna talked about. There's a good video on YouTube through After School where Terence McKenna talks about time speeding up. He describes that things are just going to get weirder and weirder. And maybe that's kind of what I was alluding to with the whole technology thing. We're treating objects and robots and artificial intelligence like they're humans, whereas they are a form of intelligence. But I don't know. I don't believe it would make sense to blur those lines and refer to them as another form of intelligence because we are intelligence, that anything that is also in itself a form of intelligence, even if it's artificial, we're not the same. Like, fuck, is that such an absurd idea? I don't think so. Of course not. We're separate from devices that we create that emulate voices, right? Those are but echoes. You are listening to something that's a simulation, right? This is just what I mean by, I guess it does get kind of confusing. And things are getting weirder and weirder and weirder. And time does feel like it's sort of, we're losing the markers that we used to use to understand time and to feel what time is. And there's more and more simulations, and we're less able to distinguish between what is a simulation and what is what one might call organic, right? And anywho, without getting lost in that paradoxical thinking, I think it's a tragedy if we lose touch with simplicity. Some call it mindfulness, just practicing mindfulness. And what's really interesting is what we think of as meditation. I would have to say that meditation, according to the podcast, they said this too quite well, the one with Andrew Huberman and this other meditation expert, it seems. You're not adding something. You're not like learning how to meditate. It's really interesting. You're not teaching your brain how to do the thing called meditation. Maybe certain skills you are learning how to do something, right? You're engaging your mind in its understanding and comprehending what something is and how to do it. But meditation doesn't sound like it's that. It's actually much more aligned with a natural state. You know, we think of the default mode network. It's the default state that your mind naturally returns to. Meditation is just the natural reset that at one point in our history, everyone meditated because everything was just, I would say, much slower, many more, I guess most of society was probably much more connected to their body, and their moment by moment awareness was connected to their bodily sensations. It wasn't like a big radical thing if you're standing still and just breathing, It wasn't like they didn't have to call it anything. And maybe monks and stuff still took much more time to cultivate that skill, but just taking time to just breathe and be in stillness, to allow your mind to really rest in that. I believe our ancestors really recognized the importance of that. What happened? At what point did we lose access to, I would call it, the sensibility to just slow down? And feel into the restorative inner faculties of the mind and body. I love the analogy of the pond. A rock falls into the pond and you see the ripples, and everything seems to kind of ripple in some kind of spiritual, energetic way, or thinking of the mind and the way whoa, that must be a raven. That is huge. My God. Blessed. But then once these ripples settle and you can see this still pond, well, there's a kind of clarity that surfaces. You don't have to search for it. You don't have to magnify anything to see it properly. Oh my gosh, these Canadian geese have gradually come closer to me because they're just sensing that I'm doing nothing, I'm just sitting here. I love it. They're like, oh, he's just sitting there. Oh, they're getting closer. I love it. Okay, so guess what I would encourage whoever you are, whatever you're doing, wherever you're here, I just invite you to see if you can approach life from a kind of stillness. Introduce more patience. Disconnect from technology. If you have to, maybe schedule some time to do absolutely nothing. And it's not lazy. Jeez. It's not bad to give yourself time to rest. You deserve time to rest. You deserve time to reset. Maybe some clarity might come from that. Maybe you're able to just witness your thinking for the first time in a long time. And if you're hearing the raindrops, that's good. I'm getting rained on. And these geese are right next to me, they're getting pretty close. It's great. They don't seem to mind my energy, and I'm appreciative of that. So to end this podcast episode, I'd like to invite you to just take 3 deep breaths with me. So just inhaling through your nose. And exhaling through your mouth. Just like that. Do 2 more. Inhaling through the nose. And releasing all your breath. One more time. Inhaling through the nose. And release, exhale. It's times like this where I believe it's better to underthink the moment, attune to the body. In IFS we talk about self. What even is self? Well, in this moment, I don't have to know what it is. I just feel it. And I hope you, too, the listener, can also feel it. Thank you for joining me in this podcast episode today, where we really just kind of slowed down. Did the podcast episode with more gentleness, more stillness. And if you enjoyed this episode today, please leave me either a comment or maybe a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great day. Are you someone who would benefit from coaching or counseling with myself? Reach out either through Feather of Light counseling at outlook.com or check out my website at www.featheroflightcounseling.ca. Reach out for a free 15-minute consultation call and we can determine if we're a good fit. Otherwise, thanks for listening. Take care.